Do not use a stove fan on your Mr. Heater Buddy heater unless you know what you're doing. So there's a video out there saying do not use these stove fans with a Mr. Heater Buddy heater. And if you're going to do it and do it wrong, then I agree with that. If you're going to do it wrong, I agree. Do not use these with your Mr. Heater Buddy heater. He melted his fan, and he's an engineer, and you should never do this. Well, yeah, if you take a heater and you throw a bunch of heat at a fan that can't handle it, sure, don't do it because you're not supposed to do it. But if you take a little bit of time to think about what you're doing, you should be fine. This specific fan, I've had, at least 5 years now, and I've used it many times for hours on end on top of this heater with no problem. But I also don't run this thing on high and overheat this to a point to melt it. When you read the instructions on these fans, most of them say do not go over 345 degrees Celsius, which is around 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, if you put this thing on high and you just slap that thing anywhere, sure, you'll probably melt your fan, melt your wires, melt the motor. But if you run it on low and you put it in the appropriate space, you're probably going to be just fine. Now, there's a lot of space around a Mr. Buddy heater. There's the front, there's the top, there's the back. There's a lot of different places that you can place a fan. And based upon the placement of that fan and how much heat you're putting out of that heater, that's going to determine should you use a fan or not. So take a few seconds, think about it, do it right. Don't use it if you're not going to do it right, but can you do it? Absolutely. It does just great. And you know why? If I have it set up like this, I have this running on low. If I want to run this on high, then I go get a paint grid. This is a paint grid. You use it with a bucket and you use it with a roller, and you slide this under the handle and rest it there, and then you can move the fan in other locations that won't overheat the fan. So your mileage may vary, and do this at your own risk, but I agree, absolutely do not use these fans on a Buddy heater unless you know what you're doing. Hope this video was helpful. Y'all take care.